baby.
Good morning and welcome to the Jesus and Jiu-Jitsu podcast. This is episode 091. My name is Isaac Tauaefa, and I'm here with the great and beautiful and powerful. Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
Josh Straussberger.
I'm building you up, buddy.
Man.
I'm building you up. When's the last time someone called you beautiful? Yeah. It's just
Probably never.
Yeah, right.
Today.
I'm throwing you a bone.
Man, that was a good intro.
Thanks, bro.
Okay. I feel like I need like theme music in a come out WWF style.
Dude, I've been watching the documentary, the Vince McMahon documentary.
Oh, yeah?
You seen that?
Dog. I've just seen the one main clip where he's like...
That guy is one of the most insane characters of all time.
Yeah.
And he tries to say in his interview, so he tries to make a distinction between Mr. McMahon, the character, and Vince McMahon, the guy, the actual person. And they're like, yeah, so how similar is your character to who you are? He's like, oh, it's not similar at all. He's like, oh, it's not similar at all. Oh, I'm going to show you this.
Not similar at all, but he is. He's insane. What is...
My grandpa got this for me a long time ago. I've had it for a long time. It's a Damascus
It looks like a face shaver.
Yeah, right? It's gnarly.
It'll shave a face. Man.
It's sweet, though. Yeah, it's got kind of...
Start calling you the butcher.
Or the barber.
Yeah, but the butcher sounds better.
I know. I thought you would go with what sounds less cool for me.
No, after that intro?
Thanks, man. You're trying to catch up?
Yeah.
Well,
Vince McMahon, he's still jacked. Isn't he almost, he's 70-something.
He's got to be older than that. But anyway, so the funny part was they're just asking him about how similar is it? He's like, oh, it's not similar at all. And then they interview other people, and they're like, that it's literally him. Like, with certain parts of his character turned up, but that's him.
It's literally
everyone else around him was like, yeah, that's how he was. But
yeah,
insane. But yeah, well, I wanted to get it started really quick because we were sitting here for a couple minutes before we started, and you were telling me how I'm not participating today. I'm not talking. I'm going to make you talk the whole time. I'm going to sit really quiet, not answer any of your questions.
I said I'm going to get started and sit like this. And anytime you ask me something, my answers will be yes. No. Do you have anything to add, Josh? No. And that's how I was going to do the whole...
What do you think of that?
The whole podcast.
Interesting.
Cool. I was going to do the whole podcast like that.
I will...
You'll what?
If I had my way, I'd slap... Who did I say that in front of someone the other day? It was like, oh my gosh. Oh, it was Titus. I just looked at you and said... I'll slap the skin off your forehead like the cheese off lasagna, dude. And Titus said, oh my gosh. And you were unfazed.
Yeah.
I'll
just offer it up.
Yeah, that's the coldest thing you could do to somebody. Yeah. Someone threatens you and you're like, okay, here you go.
Here's the back of my neck.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
Get to slapping. It's less fun that way. It takes the fun out of
it. Speaking of cheese. That's not a good
segue
of
cheese
because there was none at Thanksgiving. But I
had a lot of cheese at Thanksgiving.
Well, depends on what it was. Okay. Appetizers. We had a cheese bowl. I wanted to ask you about Thanksgiving. So how was Thanksgiving? What'd you guys do?
Thanksgiving was good. We did have a lot of cheese.
Yeah.
Like a charcuterie board.
Mm-hmm.
We went to. It was kind of turned into a yearly tradition. We go over to the Donnell's house. So it was JP and family, my family, and then Brent, our buddy Brent, came over.
Yep.
And then later in the night, some other friends of theirs, which we know too, they lived back in Mississippi with them, came over too. They were at the Cowboys game and then came after.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's nice, man.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good time. We ate a lot. So we had little calico steaks, and then we also had a turkey.
Yeah,
and some traditional food and lots of meats and cheeses and sausage balls and pumpkin pie and caramel pie. I cooked nothing.
Scrub.
I showed up to eat. Jennifer made stuff.
Oh, that's one of the few people I would like.
Okay, but listen, hear me out. Yeah. If not that I ever would, invited you to Thanksgiving.
Okay, and not that I would ever go, but yeah,
right. And I was like, I'm gonna do steaks for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Do you would you prepare steaks or
No,
meat
no.
or something?
No,
Okay,
no.
see, so it's
No, but at least a side dish. So I'm not a scrub.
my wife made like 3 side dishes.
Okay. You're fine then. You're
yeah.
fine. You're covered. And her side dishes are going to be
Yeah,
just
I'm
out
not.
of this
I'm not a
world.
side dish maker. So she made homemade mac and cheese, sweet potato casserole,
Mm-hmm.
and homemade sourdough rolls.
Killer.
And
I
Jake
saw the sourdough rolls on Instagram.
Jake brought a side. He made hot apple cider.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
Apple cider's one of those underrated things that people don't
Yeah, it
really
was good.
mess with. I love it.
good.
That's awesome. We did so. Thanksgiving was special this year.
Yeah, tell me about it being special. I heard that my good buddy Joshy was coming, and
No, he wasn't there.
oh, you told me he was going to be
No,
there.
he'll be in for Christmas. It's, yeah,
Oh, well,
they
then I
couldn't
guess
come
you're
for
off
both.
the hook because you were supposed to tell me when he got here so I could stop by and say hey.
No,
Because he was going to be working in your house. And
No, that's in December.
okay, you're off the hook.
Okay.
I take it back.
Well, we normally do things, or what we've done in the past since my grandparents moved to Texas from Hawaii in like 2012 or something. Ever since then, they bought this big house over in Shady Shores, Texas, and so it's huge. It's like 5,000 square feet or something.
I've been there.
Yeah. Well, then you know how. Well, and that was. You've been there?
That's where Joshy was for the wedding, right? Where I picked him up. He built the.
Oh yeah. That's right.
I'm part of this family.
I don't remember you. Did you get to go inside?
No.
Oh, that's what, because my grandma had leukemia. So COVID happened and my grandparents were kind of like high risk. So we stayed away from the house. We didn't have Thanksgiving that year there. And then between that year, 20 and 21, my grandma got leukemia. And so they were going back and forth to treatment at MD Anderson. And so because of that, we couldn't be around her. Her immune system was really compromised because of all the medication she was on in treatment.
Chemo and all
Yeah.
that.
So, I mean, we didn't get to really, like, we hadn't been inside that house in like years, but it was where our whole family gathered every year for Thanksgiving and Christmas. And we, like, during the football season after church, we'd all go over there to watch the Cowboys games and hang out. And then when Josiah played in the NFL, we were watching the Giants games, and it was awesome, man. And so, but we haven't done it in years since 2020 because of all that stuff. And my grandma, by the grace of God, is cancer free now, and so we were able to like go back over there. They've been hanging out, like coming over to watch the kids for us a few times, like once a week or something to help us out when I got work and Kim has work. And so anyway, we finally got to go back there, which was really nice. So going back into their house was amazing. It felt like home, you know.
Yeah.
It's huge too. Like they have so much. The way it's laid out is just, it's so conducive to a big group of people spending
Multiple
time together.
families.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel cut off. Like people can be hanging out in the kitchen, the dining area, and in the living room and in the kitchen, and it doesn't feel like disconnected, you know. So it was awesome. We had great food. It was cool because everyone brought something. I did the turkey and the gravy. I've done it the last like 4 years or something, and I don't even like turkey, and my family's kind of that way too.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, just kind of a testament to the skills of the person that did the turkey this year. Everyone was like, this turkey is awesome. But it was just because, well, I've never like made a bad turkey,
Right.
but I've made definitely better turkeys over the years where I learned better tricks, you know?
Right.
So first of all, brined it.
Yeah.
For
That's apparently
a full
big
day.
move.
You have to, because it just like absorbs.
doesn't
some
dry.
time. Yeah.
Doesn't
Made a
go
homemade brine, and then it was a big turkey. It was like 17 pounds. And then I spatchcocked it. So
Oh yeah.
cut
My
the
brother
spine
and I
out,
did that a couple years ago
Bro,
for the first time. Yeah.
I'm doing that every year now.
Yeah.
Because before, the turkey would take like, I can't remember how long it needs to cook. I think it's like 30 minutes for every pound or something.
Yeah.
Is that
It's a long.
right? Something like that. But it took forever in the previous years. Like, I mean, like 6 hours or more,
Yeah.
you know? Oh no, it couldn't be 30 minutes a pound. Anyway, 15 minutes a pound. I think.
Yeah.
But anyway, it just took way too long for a bird that big to get up to temp. And then by the time the inside gets, you know, up to temp, the other stuff's just scorched.
Yeah.
So you got to
Dry it out.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
spatchcocking made it so much better. Plus, if you don't dry it out, then I made a compound butter, put it under the skin, over the skin.
Damn.
Man, it was
Okay.
legit. So I learned this trick from I think it's from Alton Brown, Good Eats, that show.
Yeah.
I used to love that show. I think this is where I got it from, but he cooks the turkey on a rack above a tray, and then the tray has a bunch of cut up vegetables, celery, carrots, onions, and garlic, and then all that butter and like turkey fat drips down onto and roast those vegetables, and then I just take that whole tray and I put it on the burners, I put flour in it, make a roux out of that, and then I turn that into gravy, and it's
A roux.
unreal. Yeah.
Man.
Hey, listen, I mean,
okay.
Okay, dude, it's been unreal.
That's awesome.
So anyway, but every dish was like, we all sat down, we started eating, and everyone was really quiet, and it was like, hey, Saya, mac and cheese, 10 out of 10. Hey, Shannon, corn casserole, 10 out of 10. Sorry. Okay, let me go with something else.
I get it though.
Yeah,
People are
yeah,
into
yeah,
that.
yeah. Green bean.
So
casserole.
everybody knocked it out of the park.
knocked it out of the park.
So it was full traditional.
Yep.
And ours was too. We had all the traditional. We just did steak.
Yeah.
But also a turkey.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of food.
It's not even a comparison, but yeah.
Are you? And we might have talked about this before last year. Are you one of those big time like I love this Thanksgiving food so much I can't wait to eat all these leftovers for a week? That type of stuff.
I think I used to be, but man, now I just like. After Thanksgiving, I've had enough.
Yeah, and I don't. It's not like I'm anti-Thanksgiving food, but I don't really love turkey, and I enjoy like mac and cheese is a year-round thing, but like the casserole stuff, I enjoy it on the day.
Yeah,
but I'm not even going back for like that second helping that night. Like I get it, and I'm done.
yeah.
You know?
I used to be like a three plate savage.
Yeah,
when I was younger, I can't, dude. I'm ashamed to admit I only had one plate this year. I mean, it was loaded down.
I only had one plate too that was
it.
loaded down, but again, so there was like and Amanda's like she does that type of stuff, presentation and all that. So there was like brie and 3 different kinds of like Parmesan cheese and crackers and all this like fig jam and hot honey and sausage balls.
Legit.
So I ate for an hour and a half of that before.
Yeah.
And then a plate of the food and a lot of steak. And then I was still just snacking after. Like, well, I think I'm going to get another plate full of cheese and salami and meats and pepper. So, yeah.
That's how it was too. We were just grazing and eating a bunch of stuff and then smashing plates. But it was ridiculous. Everything was crazy good.
Yeah.
But the best part of it, so like we all ate, and then the best part was just kind of a holiday tradition for us. And I say holiday because it was like Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year. We'd all do this, but my grandparents always grabbed these really big puzzles, and then we just all would sit. A lot of us would just sit around the big kitchen table and like putting it together. And so we finished one together, and then we that was kind of our cue to head out with the kids. They were getting sleepy, but it was so much fun, man, and it was a great time with family.
We did cards.
Sweet.
So all the bigger kids, like the twins and Emily, were off playing, but all the adults, Jake, Jarrett, we played this card game, and it went for a while, so it was fun.
Oh, that's so much fun, man. Just doing anything like that where you're all together, engaged, phones are down. Like, it's a fun time, man.
Yeah.
It
can get cutthroat.
Yeah.
Especially with Brent there.
Yeah. He's playing to win.
Yeah, it was good, though. That's good.
I love it, dude. That makes me happy.
I mean, salty I didn't get an invite, since I'm family and all, but
I understand that. I can understand that. I actually feel the exact same way.
But I can't invite you to someone else's house.
You're not inviting me to someone else's house. You're inviting me to hang out with your family. Your family just happens to be at his house, at JP's house.
See, that's...
And I'll just like walk in and be like, sorry, I'm just here to hang out with Josh.
Only talk to me.
Yeah, no, I could never do that.
See how that
no,
works.
Cora would run up and give me a hug and be like, where's
No.
Where's Kim and the kids?
No,
I'm just here to hang out with Josh.
Can't talk to you until I get the official invite. I'm only here with Josh.
Uppercut me.
Yeah.
Well, dude, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. And
that's good.
And I just wanted, I know obviously that we have a lot more important things to talk about in this episode, but I think a Thanksgiving recap is nice just because this was cool this year, just looking at everyone's own traditions that mean
Yeah.
stuff to them that make it special for them. You know, my grandparents my parents used to do. We used to have everybody over at our house, like 40, 50 people at our house. People from church and people from, you know, my dad met at the gym or what. It was just like, you're welcome to come over, come spend time with us, come eat, hang out, you know. And so it was always really special for me. For my wife, it wasn't like that growing up. I mean, they didn't really do much. And so she was kind of like overwhelmed us hosting for the last 4 years or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think now she really has come to appreciate it, especially as we see our kids get older and they really enjoy that tradition and they look forward to it too.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I'm not really sure how Jennifer's family did it, but like when I was a kid, all my aunts and uncles on my mom's side, we would do a big Thanksgiving. But I do remember it being a lot.
Yeah.
Because I had 2 families. So I had my mom's side and then I'd go to my dad's.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we got to finish up here, so we got to go here.
Yeah.
And that was a little too much. And
Yeah.
even as we got older, like when me and Jennifer got married, it was, well, we'll go to my parents and then we'll go to your parents.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
It's kind of nice. I mean, it's different when you live away from your family.
Yeah.
But we have extended family, so that's kind of why it's been a growing tradition with the Donnells. And our family's coming to visit Christmas and New Year's.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's nice. Well, see, we did my dad and my stepmom had a Thanksgiving, but we did it like a week before, or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it was the weekend that we went to the Tim Kennedy Jesus Jiu-Jitsu event.
That's right. Yeah.
So the next day we did it at their house, and that's always special. And they know that it's like, hey, we're just trying to do this ahead of, you know, because families are getting bigger and we got lots of places to go, and they don't want to make people go multiple places.
Just come here early.
Yeah, do a whole couple weeks early, and we'll get that done. And then after that, my dad he was on a cruise last week. This past week.
Nice.
So it's kind of nice, you know. Just knock that out, and then.
So, is y'all's Christmas tree up yet?
Yeah.
Did you wait till after Thanksgiving?
No, we put it up on. I think Kim put it up on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
I'll allow it.
I normally, we've never done that. It's always been the day after Thanksgiving. But because we weren't hosting this year, Kim's like, why not?
Yes.
I just put it up 2 days early. So I was like, all right, sweet. So it's nice. It's up. And I have this cross at the top of the Christmas tree that Joshy made me.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, handmade this cross for us. And it's funny because my Christmas tree is like my ceilings, I think, in the living room are 9 feet, and the Christmas tree is 9 feet. It's literally like touching the ceiling.
So come on. Ours is the opposite. So you've been to my old house. Very, very small, low ceilings.
Yeah.
So we got a Christmas tree to fit. And when we put that thing up in the new house, it looks
stupid.
It looks terrible. I mean, the kids, it's a nice, I mean, it's probably a 6-foot tree, but I don't know. In that huge living room the ceilings are vaulted and are like 25 feet.
Yeah, they're
I
huge.
don't know. So
it's the height of the entire house.
Right. Yeah. It looks funny in the corner, but
I have a 7-foot one if you want it.
No, we're fine.
Okay.
We're fine. But
I love it, man. Yeah. That's really special. But the reason why I brought it up again, I think that a lot of people that listen, like, they have their own traditions, and sometimes it's nice to hear about what other people are doing or kind of their, you know, actually. So I'd love to hear that, because I personally enjoy getting a glimpse into how other people celebrate. Same. So if I want to hear from y'all, if you know, some people comment on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Comment there. Let us know kind of what your Thanksgiving tradition is. And if not there, then just like on a post, Instagram post, and be like, hear from the podcast. Here's our Thanksgiving tradition.
We want to see your food, and we want to know when you put your tree up so we can judge you.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I don't care.
Quite. But you wanna crack into this bad boy?
Let's crack this bad boy. I got that sour apple sniper.
I get that lemon lime. It's lost its. It's not the same saying lemon lime as saying citrus psycho.
Citrus psycho, yeah.
It'll always be citrus psycho to me.
It'll always be sour apple sniper to me.
So on that note, thank you to Jocko Fuel for sponsoring today's podcast. You guys can check them out for amazing supplements. And I mean, we rant and rave about them every week, but they have some incredibly clean and effective supplements, all types of vitamins and hormone support or testosterone support. They got krill oil. They got joint warfare, protein, creatine, cold war,
vitamin D, you name it.
Energy drinks like these that we have out here. And really, the reason why we advertise all the time for Jocko Fuel, it's like, I mean, they're a great partner, but we do it because it's great product. And so you guys, I think a lot of you already have it, but so it's a win-win. If you already are going to get it, just go get it and put our code in there, and we get a commission. The ministry gets commission,
and you get a discount.
So all that money goes back into the ministry to help us to do more and to reach further out and to do this podcast. So thank you for supporting us there. Thanks, Jocko Fuel.
And maybe not on the Black Friday deal.
Yeah, no,
because you were saving a ton of money. I think they had like fire sales.
Yeah, they did not have.
My mom.
I tried to put JJJ.
My mom called me and was like, "This, I didn't do the JJJ 10 because
it's not working." JJJ 10. Go put that in. I don't think it's going to stack on to your Black Friday deals.
Yeah,
so.
And the Black Friday deal's way better.
Yeah,
so.
and I think Cyber Monday today probably.
Oh yeah, probably so.
Oh well, they'll get this tomorrow. Still though, I mean, go get supplements.
If you're in the game, you've already seen it.
Yeah.
Origin had their jeans on super sale. I don't know if you saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's good stuff. Well, let's get. So
don't you dismiss me when I'm.
Well, thank you for bringing that.
I wanted you to know you could get some Origin jeans.
I already have 2 pairs, and that's all that I'll need for the rest of my life.
That's true.
So
that's accurate.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, carry on.
I felt like that was real. That
was real dismissive.
Well, I no, not purposefully dismissive. Yeah. My brain was shifting to what else were we? Oh, we were going to talk about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Because we do that.
Here. Well,
one of us does that.
Come on, man. You're going to be training again soon.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I mean, nothing really to talk about there. Just that the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, we had a good noon class at 555, and Brent was running class. And he didn't teach a technique or anything. He just was like, hey, I'm just here to facilitate you guys getting after it. So we did a warm-up. It was like a bunch of reps of your favorite sweep, favorite pass, that kind of thing, back and forth. So we had got the sweat going. But it was a crazy crew because I think a lot of people were off.
Yeah.
And man, it was insane. Like, let's just say I was probably the 4th biggest guy or 4th heaviest guy.
Which is frightening.
Yeah. So on that note, I rolled with Blake Haynes.
I think yeah.
But he's one of James Faulkner's students at Falcon. He's a blue belt. He's it was NFL, got drafted to the Cardinals, I think, like 2 years ago. And then decided that, hey, the NFL was not the route he wanted to go, which before my brother played in the NFL, I was like, why would you, like, that's such a huge opportunity. And then he got there and I'm like, this is chaos.
Yeah.
Like, this is the most nerve-wracking, like, impersonal thing. And so I can understand, like,
just hearing Josiah's stories.
Yeah.
Like,
well, you're like playing football for the love of it. Then you go to the NFL and it's like the complete opposite. It's like, no, there's no loyalty. People are going to step on your throat to try to get up.
And one little thing, man. And
one tiny, yeah. Or you're 30 seconds late to you ran to the bathroom between meetings and you're 30 seconds late getting to the film room. Oh, now you owe $10,000. It's like, dude, what?
What?
It's crazy. Your phone goes off in the middle of a meeting. That's a $5,000 fine or something like that. So I think he had exposure to that. I was like, yeah, this is not for me. But anyway, so he's that caliber of athlete and he's 6'4", 350 pounds.
Yes.
And so I rolled with him. He's 350. I just need to reiterate that. Yeah. And he's athletic, great footwork, explosion, speed. And his cardio is pretty good for being 350 pounds.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I just like pulled guard immediately. I've been trying to do this kind of butterfly sweep thing that Formiga was working on with me, where I just like grab the belt. So like it's so weird because people don't really do it, but like grabbing the belt on the front, pulling him into guard, getting a kind of like getting one butterfly hook, and then in the bottom leg, it's going through and then looping over the calf on that side.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of trying to anchor them down, and then I can grab with my free hand because I have the belt with my left hand. With my right hand, I'm grabbing the back of the tricep on his left arm, and then waiting for timing for him to rock forward and then starting to elevate that left side.
Hook.
Yeah, and it's been awesome. So I've been hitting on like everybody. It was different with him because he was so big and heavy, and he just kind of like stretched out over me, and so he got to where there was too much weight on my one leg, and I was too flat, and I couldn't elevate him anymore, so I had to like get out of that and just go to traditional like half guard, and then I tried this John Wayne sweep on him. But it was like so heavy, and so he like posted, and I was like trying to tip him over,
halfway
couldn't,
through it, and he's like,
but then I like called it off, and then I just like shrimped out to get my knee shield back, and we kind of played that game for a while. So he was like slowly trying to smash past my knee shield, and then I was shrimping out and regaining knee shield and playing half guard again. So it was tough, but it was just kind of that back and forth,
Yeah.
But it's good for me. It was really good for me to get practice with somebody that's that heavy and athletic and strong. It was good to like get that back and forth.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, and it was him, and then what's his name? I'm saying Marcio, that's his name, but Alacache.
Oh yeah,
who's also 6'3", 300 pounds, and the most decorated Masters 1 black belt competitor of all time. And then
big deal.
Ryan,
Terminator,
the Terminator, Ian. I mean, just like massive, crazy, great jiu-jitsu dudes.
That's disgusting.
So yeah, it was a brutal day, but great. And I think there were 6-minute rounds, and we did 7 or something.
Oh, nice.
So it was fun. It really felt like we earned some mashed potatoes and gravy.
Definitely.
And then before that, I went to open mat at Rodriguez, where we did. We had some great rolls. Kind of looking forward to Thanksgiving too.
Yeah.
So I did that as like a warm up, and then I went over to 555.
I'm excited. I'm excited. Travel's pretty much done. So it was done a couple weeks ago, but then with the holiday and everything, and so my goal is to get there maybe for noon class on Wednesday. I'm not fully committing because also we're prepping to go out of town on Thursday, so we'll see what stacks up. So
Wednesdays always get crazy busy before Pursuit.
Yeah, last minute stuff, squaring stuff away. So we'll head out to Pursuit Thursday.
I'm excited for Pursuit this weekend. If anyone listens to this podcast, because it'll be Tuesday, December 2nd. 3rd. Today's the 2nd. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, December 3rd. Well, Pursuit's on December 5th. But I think there's still a couple slots. And so if you're just like, hey, it's burning on your heart, God put it on your heart to go.
Yeah.
Let us know, because we might be able to act quickly and get you a spot to get out there. On Thursday. So yeah, I think they still have a couple left. And so I'm putting it out there because I think someone might hear this and say, because like I was talking to Chaz the other day. Chaz is a black belt 555. He's a strong believer. He's a great realtor in the Dallas area. Moved here from California. He helps run the jiu-jitsu program at Wolverine in the Dallas area. Anyway, I was talking to him, and we had a hour-long conversation on the phone the other day just about him wanting to get closer to the Lord and getting called back to fellowship with God. And so he started starting like, I'm moving that way. I'm moving back toward the Lord, and I know him. He saved me. It's undeniable what he did in my life, but I've just been walking without him for the past few years. And so anyway, but that was last week, and he's like, I'll let you know. And so we're supposed to he might be coming like as a last minute addition.
Sweet.
So we'll see. Well, yeah, so it was good.
I got one more thing.
Go.
I ran a half marathon on Monday.
By yourself.
By myself.
At the park.
At the park at night.
That's
with
brutal.
The coyotes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
I don't want to talk about it. No. Yeah. No, I learned there was definitely some weakness, and I learned some arrogance. So I did train for it. It wasn't like I went to it blind. But a lot of it was treadmill runs because we were on the road and hotels. So I just did what I could. But I got to where I could do about 7 miles was the longest run I did, quite a few times. And I thought, I'm not going for time. So if I pace myself, just a jog pace, I'm comfortable with 7. I can do 13.1. That is not reality. So I did good.
That's brutal.
I did good through the first 7, 8 miles.
That's awesome.
Started feeling it between miles 8 and 10, and I was done at 10.
That's
So
brutal.
your boy walked from 10 to 13.1. Just never stopped.
Dog tired.
Never stopped, but my legs were just like, hey, we're done.
Cut it out.
So yeah. So
Yeah, I don't. That's brutal, man. I'm
excited. I pushed through. I'm proud of myself for finishing. That was the goal, and then raising money for veterans and first responders.
Yeah.
But the main reason I brought it up was I'm not a quitter, but I just want you to know I'm just telling on myself. I had terrible thoughts in my mind. Even at 10 miles in, which, you'd think, man, there's only 3 left, even if you're just walking. But, like, my legs hurt so bad. They were cramped up. I had immediate thoughts of, and when all of our group finished, like, I'm in a group text with Lucas, JP, Cody, Rob, sending shots of our watch. Here's my time. Here's immediately, just tell them your watch died.
Yeah.
They'll never know you didn't finish. Just get in the truck and go. And
that voice.
It startled me. I was like, and even to entertain
hey,
those
you,
thoughts.
shut up.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
it was there.
That voice is a real
in that
thing.
weakness, like, and I don't quit things.
Yeah.
It may take me forever, but I'm not going to quit it. But it was so tempting right
about
there.
That's like there's other names for it. I'll call it the G version and say inner wimp. I'll say that.
Yes.
The inner wimp was whimpering and crying and trying to get out, try to get you to get out of it.
Yeah.
I understand that. Yeah, that's awesome. It's good that you pushed through, got that done. That was for a good cause, and I'm sure a serious challenge.
It was a challenge.
I had a coffee with Josh Kingery last week. I think it was last week, 2 weeks ago. He did. He was attempting that. It was a really long race.
Like an ultra, like
I think it was 50 miles maybe in Glenrose, and so just talking to him about that, it's funny. He's just like, don't stop moving.
These runners are different, man.
Yeah, man.
I never stop. Like, if you look at my watch stats, there are quick little blips where I stop, but really it was long enough. Like, I parked my truck and I'd do the loop, and if I needed a drink, I'd come to the truck, open the tailgate. So I'm stopped long enough to open the tailgate, and then I'm grabbing my water out, and then I'm just like walking circles around the truck, drinking my water, and then put it back in close, and then head right back out.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
That's
But I say that because if I had stopped, I wouldn't have got moving. Because when I got done, took a picture of my watch, showed the boys my terrible time, and then sat on the tailgate, finished my water, drank a hydrate, texted Jennifer, and I was like, I'm going to get Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Do you want anything?
Nice.
And then didn't want to move.
Yeah.
And I was like, if I had done this any time during, I would not have gotten back up. I did not want to get off my tailgate.
I get that. That feeling. That happens to, and I'm sure a lot of people are listening to this, that even if they don't run, if they do jiu-jitsu and you train hard, you have like 6-7 hard rounds.
Yeah.
And then you sit down to talk. It's almost like I'm going to be sitting here for an hour.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to just roll to the side of the mat and get up. You start getting so stiff.
Yeah, everything
tired,
locks up.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, that was it. Yeah, there's no going back in now. I need a whole warm-up.
That is brutal, man. Well, that's awesome. You got to knock that out and got that done. That's a big accomplishment.
Yeah.
You can say you've done it now.
You weren't there.
Now you can have one of those 13.1 stickers on the back of your truck.
I already ordered it. Just kidding.
I'm ripping it off of your truck.
Just kidding. There's not one.
Well, we'll see.
There's one sticker on my truck. I'll let you look at it after.
I know what it is.
You don't know what it is.
It's not a Jesus and Jiu-Jitsu sticker for some reason. It's a Jack Carr sticker for some reason.
Nope. It's not.
It's a Glock sticker. It's a Don't Tread on Me sticker.
No. You'll just have to look after.
It's a at Josh Straussberger actual IG sticker is what it is.
That's not even my Instagram.
I don't know. Okay.
Punk.
Well, hey, for the people that are just hanging on for like
though. That's just what I want to point out.
13.1.
You could have been there with me.
Heck no.
Why?
Absolutely not. Because my knee is absolutely obliterated. My doctor was like, hey, listen, if you want to see 40 years old without your knee exploding.
I'm a geriatric. I don't want to hear it.
Well, I do need a full knee replacement before I'm 40, which is coming up. And my knee is actually more destroyed than my doctor told me it would be when I was 21.
Okay.
But, and I thought we'd be further along by now. He told me, like, I was thinking jets and stuff. Like, my knee's going to be, we're going to have all this technology. Yeah. He was like, yeah, by then I bet you the technology will catch up and we'll have synthetic meniscus. They can do a little scope surgery and just put that in there. And no, that's not at all what's going on. There's still really no real solution for a meniscus replacement surgery. And that's like the bare minimum of what I'd need for my knee to be in some shape for, that pounding from running. That's why I love jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is great cardio and you don't have to run.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Yeah, it's
a lot more fun.
It's way more fun.
No offense to runners, but
not like all offense to runners. Do jiu-jitsu.
I'm a runner now, though. What are you talking about?
Oh my gosh! Please don't start. It's going to be in your Instagram bio.
But yes,
half marathon runner.
Yeah. No, just runner. Just run. I don't want them to know. Like,
Okay.
They won't know.
Before I throw up, let's move on to the next.
I'm gonna pad that bio.
Well, for those people who patiently waited
Thanks,
for the important parts of what we were,
you could have had me silent the whole time. You chose this.
No,
it's
dude.
ultimately your decision.
No. I'm happy. Can you read in Philippians?
I can.
Philippians 1, verse 20 through 21.
Are you ready?
Yep.
According to my earnest expectation and my hope that in nothing I shall be ashamed, but that with all boldness as always, so now also Christ shall be magnified in my body, whether it be by life or by death. For to me to live is Christ, and to die is gain.
Dude, one of the hardest lines of all time.
That's a good one.
But just such a So this, I always loved it. I actually didn't understand the wording of it. To live is Christ, to die is gain.
Yeah.
What does that mean? To live is Christ. Christ is like the verb there. I thought a verb or a description of how you're, but it's like, and I've learned over time what Paul intended by that. But what helped sharpen my understanding of that is I started listening to the audiobook of To Live is Christ, to Die is Gain by Matt Chandler,
right,
my pastor. And I got probably 4 chapters in, and then I hit him up. I was like, hey, man, I need a physical copy to highlight some stuff, because I think that's the best way for me to read books is listen to the audio version, the audible version, and then look at the physical. Because I'm like, I remember hearing about this, but then underlining helps it stick better. You know?
Yeah.
So he got me a copy of it so that I could highlight stuff, and that's what I brought today.
What's the name of the book?
It's that verse. It's to live is Christ, to die is gain.
Okay. Perfect.
Bro, it's incredible. But what he's doing in this is he's kind of going through Philippians and explaining what in context what that means. And so there's a piece of this book that I want to read for our discussion today. The first, just for a little context, he's kind of going through this story in Acts where Paul is establishing the helping to establish the church, or I think contextually this is what is establishing the church in Philippi. And there's a couple different stories from when he goes there with Silas, and there's he's talking to Lydia, and then they're talking to then there's this story about the demon possessed girl that it's funny, she's following him around and pretty much saying she was doing it in a mocking way, these men are, listen to them, they're sent here by the Son of God, and it sounded like what she was saying was a good thing, but she was doing it in a mocking way, and she was just following them around town through the markets all day.
Right. And
then finally Paul is like, hey, I had enough. He turns around and he's like, hey, demon, come out of there. And she's delivered. Yeah. Well, she had this psychic ability like demonically powered. And so when she's delivered, she doesn't have that power anymore. And the guys that were handling, that were her handlers because they were making money off of her psychic ability,
right,
are now pissed off.
Yeah, they're
and
mad.
Say, yeah,
all
you
of a
need
sudden,
to. Yeah. So they report them to the authorities and say these guys are like, I don't remember what they essentially they're going against our. They're stirring up trouble and causing strife here,
right,
like
by
them.
delivering this.
Yeah, by
girl,
delivering this.
But it hurt their money. So
yeah, so they ended up. That's how they ended up going to jail. Well, so I'm going to read this excerpt. It's 2 pages. But he's already, just for context, he's already talked about the girl that was delivered, and then now he's talking about the jailer. This section is called the Blue Collar Joe. The deliverance and conversion of the possessed slave girl is an exciting scene, but the story intensifies as we continue reading in Acts 16. And when they had brought them to the magistrate, they said, "These men are Jews, and they are disturbing our city. They advocate customs that are not lawful for us as Romans to accept or practice." The crowd joined in attacking them, and the magistrate tore the garments off them and gave orders to beat them with rods. And when they had inflicted many blows upon them, they threw them into prison, ordering the jailer to keep them safely. Having received this order, he put them into the inner prison and fastened their feet in the stocks. That's verses 20 through 24, Acts 16, verse 20 through 24. So then Matt writes, as Westerners, when we think of the stocks, we picture New England in the 1700s, the embarrassment and shame of having your head and hands stuck in a public contraption. But that is not what first century Roman Empire stocks were like. These devious contraptions would contort the prisoner's body into all sorts of excruciating postures, locking limbs and joints in place to the point of making the entire body cramp. The prisoner's body would seize up with searing pain, and then the Romans would just leave the person there for days. Notice that the jailer is not commanded to treat his prisoners this way. The magistrate simply asks him to keep the missionaries safe, and instead he tortures them. So we aren't dealing with a very nice man at this moment. The jailer is very good at his job, and he probably likes it more than he should. But when it comes to taking pride in one's work, this guy could not out-enjoy Paul. This is Acts 16:25. About midnight, Paul and Silas were praying and singing hymns to God, and the prisoners were listening to them. If you hated the gospel, wouldn't the Apostle Paul be the most frustrating human being alive? It did not matter what anyone did to this man. He loved God and continued to show it in every possible way. We see Paul's gospel fixation echoed throughout his letter to the Philippians. He is the man who, when threatened, says, "Well, to die is gain." Yeah. In response, his captors will say, "We'll torture you then." He says, "I don't count the present suffering as worthy to even compare to the future glory." You can't win with a guy like this. If you want to kill him, he's cool with that because it means he gets to be with Jesus. If you want to make him suffer, he's cool with that so long as it makes him like Jesus. If you want to let him live, he's fine with that because to him, to live is Christ. Paul is, as Richard Sibbes says, of everyone united with Christ, a man who can never be conquered. So, dude, yeah. I was reading this piece of it stuck out to me. So this is chapter 2, I think. Anyway, bro, it stood out to me so strong because this just summarizes what it means to live is Christ, to die is gain.
Yeah.
To live is Christ, meaning if I'm here, every moment that I'm alive, and every season of suffering I endure makes me more like Jesus. I'm conformed continually into the image of Jesus.
Right.
I'm made to look more like him and to act more like him. And to die is gain because I get to be in the presence of God.
Yeah.
So you literally cannot do anything to me.
Yeah.
I think the most terrifying people in jiu-jitsu are the guys that I just can't kill. You know, like there's nothing you can do to them that will make them, you could crush them and they just keep coming back. You can wear them out. You can neon belly them for 2 minutes. And as soon as they get out, they're coming for you. And you're like, man, this guy just won't, like I thought I wore him out enough and he's still just coming.
Wore myself out.
Yeah, wore myself out.
He's just still coming. Relentless.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
But it's just like this, like a man that can't be conquered. But this was not, what's cool, what's encouraging about this is, and what I got out of it was, this is not something that's only available to Paul.
Right.
This is not an attribute of Paul that we should just admire as kind of separate from us, only attainable by him. No, this is a man who understands the gospel and has like a right understanding of who Jesus is and how he's supposed to live his life to glorify God. And because of that, he's this man that can't be conquered.
Right. And it's crazy to me, like the mindset too. So there's one thing to be, steadfast. I feel like he goes even beyond that. So like, it's not a comparison. This is just where my thought process goes. But like, a Christian persecuted, thrown in the stocks, like they're resolute. But Paul's like, I'm going to sing praises while I'm in here. Like that takes a next level of thing. And I think the big contrast with that too is it's encouraging is Paul was one of the worst before his transformation.
Yeah.
So like anybody could have a relationship and a testimony that way. I mean, he was literally doing the same thing and worse to Christians that's being done to him before. Like it doesn't get much worse. And he's like, I'm resolute, but I'm even going to sing. Like I'm actually happy about it.
It's insane, especially knowing because of that. Yeah. Like because of his specific experience persecuting Christians, you're like, bro, are you sure? Like I think you would think naturally those people are more they're more likely to be terrified to live that way because he knows better than anybody what's in store for Christians who live outwardly like that. Like he knows better than anyone the type of persecution they're willing to put these Christians under to get them to stop singing, to get them to stop sharing the gospel. And that's what's just so amazing. He's like, no, he was more bold than anyone. Right. So there's another piece of this that I want to read real quick. So this says, in response to his bold missionary work in a hostile place, the Romans put him in the inner prison and lock him in the stocks. And he basically says, I'm going to sing and pray while I'm down here. That's funny. Literally said that. And he said, and he and Silas are singing and praying. Something extraordinary happens. Suddenly there is a great earthquake, so that the foundations of the prison were shaken, and immediately all the doors were opened, and everyone's bonds were unfastened. This is, I think, Acts still 26?
27. Yeah, 26.
Yep. When the jailer woke and saw that the prison doors were open, he drew his sword and was about to kill himself, supposing that the prisoners had escaped. But Paul cried with a loud voice, "Do not harm yourself, for we are all here." And the jailer called for lights and rushed in. And trembling with fear, he fell down before Paul and Silas. Then he brought them out and said, "Sirs, what must I do to be saved?" And they said, "Believe in the Lord Jesus, and you will be saved, you and your household." And they spoke the word of the Lord to him and to all who were in his house. And he took them the same hour of the night and washed their wounds. And he was baptized at once, he and all his family. Then he brought them into his house and set food before them. And he rejoiced along with his entire household that he had believed in God. That's Acts 16:26 through 34. This is a cool. I'm just going to keep reading. Sorry, we're going to read the entire book for this episode.
Buckle up.
This is one more utterly unique conversion story to help us develop a portrait of the Philippian church. The jailer is not like our first two character studies. The jailer is basically a blue-collar ex-GI manning the jail cells. He's not interested in the incessant banter of the intellectuals, and he's not invested in the charismatic hoopla of spiritual powers. He's like the guy who just wants to put in his time at work so he can go home, have a beer, and watch the game. He's probably not a guy who sits around a lot thinking about the meaning of life. He's duty-bound. He just wants to do his job well, honor his imperial employers, and get back to his well-ordered house. How does the gospel grab a hold of him? In Rome during this period, if a prisoner escaped or was lost, whoever was responsible for that prisoner would pay the price with his life. Like a lot of blue-collar Joes of today, the jailer has come to identify his life with his job. There are people today who cannot think of themselves except by what they do, and perhaps this man is no different. So when he sees that he might be about to lose a lot of what has been entrusted to him, it's an automatic leap for him to think of taking his own life. Yeah. He immediately yanks out his sword and gets ready to kill himself, but Paul shows him a better identity, a more fulfilling reality, and a greater duty that transcends everything this guy had previously known. Again, just beautiful, like you said. in the midst of suffering, in the midst of torture, in the midst of being in a foreign place where you are an outcast, and just for existing, they put you in prison.
Right.
Well, and then they're singing on top of that.
I don't know. I just think as American Christians, like and there's legitimate hardships, but I even still feel like none of that compares to what that is. It's a lighter note, but I took the Jennifer and Jake and Jarrett to see John Chris, the comedian.
Yeah, he's awesome.
And it's a joke, but it really has like some weight to it. So one of the things his jokes, and I don't want to give too many spoilers, but no, he's like, can you imagine like my mom used to tell me, like, when you get to heaven, you get to meet all these saints, these epic Christians or whatever. And he's like, I don't want to meet them. He's like, yeah, you're gonna go meet Peter, who suffered and was crucified, and like, yeah, what did you do? And John's like, I skipped chocolate on Wednesdays and fasted. Like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like
just no comparison.
Like, I don't want to see those guys. They're gonna be like,
nice. What? Somebody said they didn't like your "What Would Jesus Do" bracelet at the store. Yeah. Like, oh man, come on, you believe in that? Yeah. That's about the extent of the persecution you're going to get as a modern Western Christian.
Right.
You're right, dude. Well,
and not that there aren't heavy things that people deal with. There are, but it's like when you really put it in perspective, and then that's encouraging, because like even at that level of suffering, he's like, I'm gonna sing some. Like,
it's insane, dude. It's so amazing, man, and what a great model for life. Like, there's no amount of persecution, and it's not that like all of like that you're gonna be. Many of us are never gonna be in any type of situation where we're literally physically being tortured, and they're like, whatever, they want you to be quiet, and to denounce your faith or whatever. It's not, most of us are not going to live in that, but society as a whole is like, that's the heart of the world. That is what the enemy intends, is this type of desire to shut you up and to not get you to live boldly for him. But like, just imagine how much more powerful the body of Christ would be in the world if all of us were like this guy says, men who cannot be conquered.
Right.
Like, no, I'm unconquerable, because there's no winning with me.
You can do whatever you want.
You can do whatever you want. You torture me, cool. Makes me more like Jesus to suffer and to
kill me. I win.
I win. Yeah, I get to be in the presence of God. So there's nothing you can do to me. And dude, I just think that that's such a powerful way to live that I want to aspire to. Like, and as I get older, and as the more I study the Word of God, the more, like I've said this before, but the more beautiful it becomes to me. But figures like Paul stand out to me more. Like, I always used to really admire, I used to love the stories about King David, because it was much more about, he was fighting actual wars with a sword and a spear and a shield and a sling. Like, that's really cool. And that's like something you want to relate to, You're just like, man, that's awesome. He was like actually physically fighting. Paul is an absolute warrior as well, but his fights, like he says, our fight is not against flesh and blood,
right?
But against principalities and rulers and these evil forces in the heavenly places. Like, he is just as much of a warrior fighting boldly, but like fighting this invisible war with principalities and these dark forces, like, that are playing out through governments and through people who are in power and through, society in general. And it's like, look at his boldness in the face of all of this. And it's like, it's just him and Silas rolled up into Philippi. Like, he's not with some huge group.
Right.
There's no guarantee that he's going to get out. We can look at his story and it's like, well, I know he writes a lot of epistles after this, and so it's going to end up good for him in the end. But like, at the time he went through this, he's like, this could be it for me.
He eventually gets beheaded, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that how Paul died?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Or John? Yeah, I don't know.
John gets exiled. I think he's the one that lives, right?
That's right. No, but I think John the Baptist got his head off.
Yeah.
John, sorry,
but
not
Paul,
John the Apostle.
Well, Paul gets executed in Rome eventually.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. But is it beheading?
I don't know.
sounds like it. But I mean, dude, all of those guys,
Yeah.
skinned alive. I mean, boiled alive in oil, like crucified upside down, sawed in half.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually here. Hold on. There's a quote from in this. I actually skipped a quote. Here it is. This is his early church father, John Chrysostom, who apparently was threatened with banishment if he did not renounce his faith. He says, "If the empress wishes to ban me, let her do so. If the earth is the Lord's. If she wants to have me sawn asunder, I will have Isaiah for an example. If she wants me to be drowned in the ocean, I think of Jonah. If I am to be thrown in the fire, the 3 men in the furnace suffered the same. If cast before wild beasts, I remember Daniel in the lion's den. If she wants me to be stoned, I have before me Stephen, the first martyr. If she demands my head, let her do so. John the Baptist shines before me. Naked I came from my mother's womb, naked shall I leave this world." Paul reminds me, if I still pleased men, I would not be the servant of Christ.
Yeah.
That heart, though, dude, these guys, they got that dog.
Yeah, they got that dog.
I want that, man. I want this tenacity. I want this boldness, and to not be afraid ever.
Right.
Like to be persecuted or what the world thinks or what I might suffer for his sake.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, I mean, it's so worth it. And when you sit and you just think for a few minutes, I count it all as loss. It's all meaningless, like compared to the surpassing worth of knowing Jesus, to knowing him in his fullness. It's all rubbish. And so I want to live like that. I know it. I know that word, but I want to live like that outwardly where I have literally nothing to lose ever. I mean, and we have a lot to lose.
Yeah.
Like just personally, you and I, like our families and our children and your business and, you know, my job. And look, there's a lot to lose that you could, if you live boldly for Christ. I mean, yeah, we're kind of spoiled in Texas to kind of have a general cultural Christianity. The problem is there's a lot of Christians, a lot of people who identify as Christians that are not really Christians,
right,
that hate when you live like a real Christian or when you hold them accountable to what they say they are. Like, okay, yeah, you say you love God, you say you love Jesus, but you're not really living for him. And that's actually more dangerous than people that just outwardly live for the world.
Right.
You have these like fake Christians, you know, and they get the most agitated of people who are really living for the Lord.
Right.
And so anyway, I just want this kind of boldness that says I'm unconquerable because because to live is Christ and to die is gain.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I have on this, and I was seriously encouraged by it, which is why I wanted to share it today. Yeah. And I'm going to keep reading this book. I'm a couple chapters ahead than what we just read right now, but I can't wait to get to the end of it. And I'm sure on the pod I'll have a couple more.
I need to get a copy of that book.
Yeah, it's unreal, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so, and real quick, we want to say thank you to our buddy Dan Wells. Thanks, Dan. Dan sent us these Advent journals. I think his pastor put this together, maybe. But let's see, hold on. Or maybe I'm wrong. No. It says Calvary Chapel, Coastlands, New Jersey. So this is his church.
Right.
So thank you to Dan. Dan is now like running the men's ministry, like officially on staff at that church, and such a great man of God. And so he just thinking of his brothers here in Texas sent us these Advent journals looking ahead as we remember the birth of our Savior this month. And so they have a 25-day study. So
made in the USA, Coppell, Texas.
Oh, sweet. Wow. Made down the street and sent all the way to New Jersey.
Nice.
Well, thank you so much,
thanks, Dan.
Yep.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. Any other stuff like announcements or whatever? I got a lot of orders to send out.
Okay.
In the last couple of days, I got 37 orders.
Dang,
I got to send out all over the country. Guys. So thank you. We have these sport shaker cups from Jesus in Jiu-Jitsu that they sent us, American-made protein shaker cups. And, as always, T-shirts, rash guards, hats, flags, all that stuff. So that helps the ministry.
Still have some vinyl patches or no?
Yeah, we still got some.
Limited run.
Yeah, Dave and Robin have them. I'm actually slowly getting them onboarded to eventually. They're so much better at merch than I am, and I'm like, they're passionate about it. They love it, and
Yeah.
I trust them to be
Yeah.
able to run that. So I think it'd be cool to have them kind of in charge of that area. But in the meantime, we got our inventories kind of split between us right now.
Right.
But anyway,
Awesome.
yeah. Anyway,
What else you got coming up?
let's see. We got
Was it a Bible study?
Yep, group discipleship on December 11th.
11th. I'm here.
Wednesday, December 11th, which is next Wednesday.
Right.
That'll be at 6:30 a.m. at Double Five Jiu-Jitsu. We don't train. We just meet there because we use the mats. We sit on the mats. We have coffee. This time we're going over the last 2 chapters in Man Alive, chapter 7 and 8. So just get familiar with it. I mean, you don't even have to read it in depth if you don't have time, but just kind of scan through it, look at the main points of those 2 chapters, so they're just jumping off points for us to talk about.
Right.
And the conversations are always great there. And God always presents, like, there's some great little pockets for me to just add some insight or and apply some scripture to the conversation. And so that's been really awesome. And if you're not able to come in person, then you can watch. There's an Instagram live stream that happens. So that'll happen on December 11th, Wednesday, December 11th at about 6:40 a.m. Central Standard Time. So you can tune into that. And we really encourage you to. We've had like over 300 people every week. I mean, every month that we've done this, that tune in online. So please comment and like send your prayer requests and send, like, if you have a point you want to make, if you're watching, like, actually participate. Because Robin usually monitors that, and I'll ask her, like, hey, anybody say anything? And she'll say, oh, this person had something on that point, or this is what they found useful in this chapter, which just helps the conversation along.
I'm excited to be there. I came to the first one, and now I'm coming to the last one.
I'm glad you'll be there.
Yeah.
It'll be good. And then that helps us to wrap up the last 2 chapters so that we can start a new book.
I didn't mean the last one ever. The last one for this year.
For this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we'll be able to start a new book in January.
Yeah.
But yeah, check out our stuff. That really helps the ministry. You can donate to the ministry. If you want to sponsor an episode of the podcast, it's really simple, straightforward. So you reach out to the page. You can reach out to me individually. You reach out to Josh, and we'll share information, or Lucas. And so, yeah, just get us. That really helps the ministry. And then now we have a newsletter. Oh, that's what I was going to talk about.
Oh, cool.
We have a newsletter. The first one went out. It was a recap of our last event. And moving forward, we also have these devotional blogs. So I have these amazing devotional blogs written by a friend of ours. His name is Sterling Archer. He's an incredible writer. He and I got together many times. And so he can really capture kind of the heart and the mission of Jesus in Jiu-Jitsu. And now he's writing these devotional blogs that are aimed at kind of the topics that we deal with. A lot of them are aimed they actually are centered around some of our favorite kind of talking points with the podcast. And so he's written out a bunch of those. And so you're going to have one of those per week, every week for the next year. So
Sweet.
So sign up for the emails. I think we're going to put a button on the website so you can sign up. If not, well, I mean, we're doing that. How we got the emails so far were people that came to the live events and they signed up with their email.
Right.
And then also, if they ordered something online through Shopify, they were migrated over to that list. So go buy something online, you can get added to that list, or we'll put a button on the website soon so that you can just sign up for emails. For the newsletter and the devotional podcast. Blog. So, but we love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you guys had an amazing Thanksgiving with your families. God bless you guys. Josh, you want to say a prayer for us?
Sure. Heavenly Father, thank you for this time. I could be here with my brother, Lord, and talk about fun stuff and then dive into some helpful things in your word, Lord. And thank you for Matt Chandler's book, shedding some light on this, Lord. I pray that we would strive to be that type of Christian with that boldness, Lord. Thank you for all of our listeners. Keep them safe in whatever they're going through at the time they listen to this, and bless them. Thank you for their support, and thank you again for using us with what we're doing on this podcast. Keep us safe until we come back next time. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Hey, so we'll also put a link in the show description for this book if you're interested in buying one. That way it's easy for you to find, I think on Amazon or whatever. So we'll put that in there. I would just encourage you to check it out, and it'll bless you. So, but thanks again for tuning in. This has been the Jesus in Jiu-Jitsu podcast, episode 091.
Go train.